Okay, welcome back. This is episode 7 of the Vulcan Gas Depot series. We're gonna do a bit of work preparing printing out some equipment for the greenhouse. Gonna get that ready. In between episodes, I did a fair bit of mining. Actually made quite a few things. You see I've got 400 grams of steel, some silicon, and some electrum and constantan and invar. I also put some silicon in here already. I believe I have, there's quite a bit in there. So to start with, we're going to make just a bunch of these tanks. Insulated tanks. 6 of those. Yeah, we can make 6 of those, so that's perfect. And then let's see about making some frames and walls and things. I'd like another kit battery. Did those just disappear? I'm not sure what happened. I think... Did they fall through the floor? Where did my steel go? Well, that's annoying. Pretty sure I just lost 140 grams of steel. Oh, there they are. That was very strange. Somehow they ended up on the roof. I don't know how. That's quite the little bug there. So anyway, let's put one of these in here. Now, to start with, I'd like to put the big tank out here. Okay, and then I want a big tank out here. And we'll need the tool to wire that in. There, so that's just going to hold a lot more volume. Okay, we're going to start putting down some basement support for the greenhouse. Plan is to do a 5x5. I think that should fit in here. Yeah, perfect. A 5x5 fits exactly. Okay, and then we'll come out and weld this floor up. Okay, finish welding these. Oops. Well, that's fine. That one can be double welded. They'll all eventually need to be double welded anyway. So we also want some more Omni transmitters. I keep running out of battery because I'm running around and just drawing too much off the single Omni transmitter. Okay, let's take a quick check on this. So this is down just about to liquefaction temperature. Kilojoules, so we're getting good heat transfer still. Still not, it's not great. We could have really put another one of those in. We should see about doing that. Probably have to relocate this pipe a little bit, but that'll be fine. Have we gotten any more pollutants condensed? No. That should work a lot better, though. It should cool much more effectively now. We better get CO2 filters. Okay, let's go back out, do a little more work. Why is that venting? Let's take a look at this computer here. Okay, so we're on day temperature. Oh, we want to change this to R0. That's a mistake. So we only want to dump if we're over 433 temperature. That's why that's happening. So it is too hot, so we are going to dump. Yeah, because we pulled in hot air. And this has cooled enough that it may start condensing. I think tonight it'll start condensing. And then I wanted to change one other thing actually too on the code on the computer here. So during the day, if we're over 160, we dump, but we also check the pressure into R1 and set into R1 if the pressure is greater than, we'll say 100 kilopascals. We'll go 150. That way we don't get any daytime air backfeeding into the tank. We only vent. And we'll and into R0, R0, and R1. Where's that heat coming from? Okay, that's exchanging heat without there. We should get some one-way valves on those. There, so now that shouldn't be able to heat up at all. 213, yeah. So that's holding at 213. We might have to build a few more of these to drain that quickly enough. Oh, it is still heating up. Where is it getting heat from? 214 in there. It's 214 in there, so now it should stay. Yeah, now it's not heating up at all. Okay, so that simplifies that a lot. Or should make that a lot more efficient. And we'll finish putting some of these in. Oops. Let's see, angle grinder. Okay, 20% oxygen, perfect. Really should just automate that thing, but it's fine. Okay, let's go check on this thing now. This night gas system should be just about to fill. So we're at 150 kPa, which is where we wanted to stop. If we turn these on, they're cycling off. 224, it has come up just a little bit. And that's because that has warmed up slightly. Oh, no, it's probably these things have run a bit. And that's gotten some condensation. This went from 617 to 618, so we've gotten a mole of condensation happening. So tonight we actually should get a fair bit of condensation going as soon as this kicks on and starts bringing in cold air. And this should be just about to click on. There we are. So that is filling. Temperature very quickly drops on that, so that's good. And then once this hits, let's see, that's 190. Yeah, we really need a bigger vent on that. It's fine for now, but Get another one of those powered vents. Okay, and we'll rewire this so that we can put another one in line here. So that'll turn back on. We can install one there. And we'll install one there as well. Okay, and then we want the welder and plastic sheets. I'll pipe kits and a screwdriver first. And now the plastic sheets. Okay, and then we will plumb that in. Okay, that is all wired in. And let's see how we're doing on pressure on this. 2 megapascals, so night gas, that should turn on. And why isn't it? Oh, temperature's too warm. So that's not turning off during the day. We need to adjust that code. Something's going on there. So during the day temperature, we need the powered vent to just switch off. Just absolutely do not run it. And now if we try to turn these on, so let's make sure they're... Oh shoot, mode is the wrong one. That's not right. So edit, pause, we want on to be 0. And if we try to run them, they turn off immediately. So they're all set inward. There we are. We'll weld this floor back in. And now if we look at some temperatures... So this is at 2 megapascals at 145. Yeah, heating up very slowly now because that holds so much more volume. Beautiful. And this is still holding open. We're getting 2 kilojoules and we are getting condensation. There's a full liter in that tank. And that means this is condensing quickly. We're actually holding liquid now. So that's good. Okay, so this is 80 and 30. Yeah, these are slowly running. We'll have to see about getting these a little more optimized, but I think this is going to work a lot better now. And just as a quick test, let's run this for just a moment. And what's in here? And this is slowly cooling. 148, 147.9, 146. Beautiful. And that is, why is that not releasing any gas?
Hydration critical.
Okay, and that is slowly coming down in temperature. So that appears to be working. Okay, let's turn that off for now. I think we're looking good on that. So let's do a little bit more construction on the greenhouse. Let's just put these in so we stop falling through those. Let's just have a quick look and see how this is doing. Yeah, 4,000. So we've condensed 2,000 moles out of here. So this is purifying rapidly. We were at 6 kilomoles. So about 1,500 moles or something. Yeah, 2,000 moles in there. Beautiful. Yeah, not very much liquid because it's a little bit warm. These are working to pull it down. We'll have to probably manually dump this. Well, it'll dump fairly quickly once it gets to... But that is working. Lovely. Okay, let's just take a little break and have a bite to eat. And I'm going to take a break for now, and I'll come back in a little bit. Okay, I've taken a short break. I've come back, going to do a little more building. Going to want a few atmospherics kits. Let's see, there's 2. I'll probably want a third one. Let's actually just take this apart. It's going to... it's just kind of in the way. Did we... Apparently we didn't put a wall in the middle there. Okay, I'm going to remove this as well. And then let's put in... I don't know, we'll just put iron wall there for now. There we go. And we'll want some doors. Okay, we'll weld this door up. There we are. I'd like one of those back here as well. So I think right here we're going to put that. Okay. Leave that open. We'll want a couple ladders. Oh, we got way too many ladders. Well, that's fine. They'll get used eventually. And we'll do these other 3 corners. Yeah, I think I like the look of that. That looks pretty good for a greenhouse. So we'll put the plants in the middle here, and then over here is going to be kind of a kitchen area. We'll have just sort of utility space here, access space. Over here is going to be chemistry and genetics, and then I'm not sure what I'll do back here. So then down in the basement, we're going to work on the air handling equipment, some of those kind of things. So we'll start working on that. Gonna start by putting down some tanks. So we got 4 spaces. I want 4 tanks, so we'll put 1 on each. And we'll need some more tanks. Let's just weld this up right away too. Let's see, I think we need... And then we'll need glass for that, and a crowbar. And we'll crowbar it open. So that should protect us from storm damage in here. Oh, and let's close this thing too, so we don't keep falling down there.
Hydration critical.
Okay, we're gonna need more tanks. That's gonna want steel. Hi, Damon. Do you want outside? It's cold outside today. Yeah, you can go outside. And I'd like to just quickly check on this too, just to see how this is all doing. So this is getting to be almost completely pure volatiles. We're looking real good on that. So just a quick editor's note, I spent a bit of time investigating these in the video to try and figure out why it wasn't working, and when I was editing, looking at the way they're behaving, I'm pretty sure what's happening is it's being rate limited by the heat exchanger between the air conditioners and the pollutant tank. That's just not allowing enough thermal transfer through to actually make the air conditioners run. So since there's no load on them, they're cycling on and off. Okay, let's head down. Start putting in these tanks. So this first one that's already down is going to be CO2. CO2 for that one. This one is going to be nitrogen. That will be hydrogen, and this one should be oxygen. And there's just enough walkway there, so that's looking good. We'll get a little bit of piping installed onto each of these, because at a minimum we're going to need at least one leg for sure. And we'll also want to wire those in. We're going to need wires too. I should get just a bunch of cables printing. I'm going to need a gazillion of those. Okay, we're going to start putting down some of these filtration units. So I'd like an oxygen filtration somewhere about here. Let's just remove this. I don't know how that ended up there. Oh, that's where that extra wall went. I thought I had an extra one of those. Okay. Another atmospherics kit set to filtration. That'll be the nitrogen one. And then we'll need a hydrogen filter. So we'll have to make one more atmospherics kit. Okay. Get all three of these wired up. Yeah, and I built that one wrong. Never fails. I always build one, at least one of those wrong the first time around. Okay, there we are. So the output of each of these can be just piped directly in. There will be some extra logic going in a few of these places. So this one is going to have a T-junction here. And actually, let's put the T-junction down, because I think we'll come under the floor with that section there. Oh, well that will have to be done a little differently. There, that one will be one of those. Okay, and this one will need a leg that comes out like this. Oh, and of course we're out of pipes. Okay, so this one we want a leg coming out this way eventually, because there'll be a vent on there. And then the input to that. Okay, so the waste on this one should just be pure CO2. Okay, so now we'll start looking at the input to this. So that's going to draw from the room. Let's put a straight 5 in there. There we are. Okay, I think I like the look of that. And we wanted an active vent on that leg of the pipe, which is going to be over here somewhere. Right there. Oh, can I not see that at all? I can't see that at all. That's less ideal. Let's redesign this a little bit. Yeah, I think I might do away with those padded walls. I'm not entirely a fan of those. We'll have to see. Okay, so that can come like that. We're going to want an extra leg up here. And then we're going to want a utility tank on that. We'll put the biggest one in. That looks quite nice. And then we want a pollutant valve drain system. Yeah, we will go this way with it. Okay, and that's liquid from there. Yep, I do just have to take these padded walls apart. These are just problematic. Okay, let's see. So I think if we run a leg over like this, and then a digital valve there, and then a passive vent right there. And we'll wire those together. Let's just have another little check on these. This is purified and is nice and cool, or is relatively cool. This is coming down in temperature, but not quickly enough. What's the rejection temperature there? 143, so if we make that 80, that should be able to run continuously. And then if we make this 10, this should run continuously as well. Yeah, so this is the limiting the throughput there. That's alright though. We can put another heat exchanger on there. That's doable. So this is coming down nicely, and let's see, what is that at? 159. Let's just see how much we can cool that. Oh, there's no liquid in there. That is interesting. Okay. Let's just have a quick look at that. So pollution, we're at about 2 kilopascals, 2.1. That's going to have to get down to, oh boy, yeah, that's got to get very cold to liquefy. That's just too big of a tank. So I was wondering if we were going to have to do this. I think we're going to have to put in a manual pollutant collection system. So we'll put a condensation valve there. We'll move these wires. And then, let's see, we'll want gas piping here with a T-junction. Yeah, let's actually put the T-junction over here so we can still access this panel. And then for now, we only have this one regular utility, so we'll just stick that on there. Okay, then we want one-way valves there, there, and there. Let's open all of those. And it is nighttime. We can wire this in and run, and that should make a bunch of pollutant, liquid pollutant for us. Beautiful. Okay, so that is going to increase 655 kilomoles. Oh, we're getting liquid in those. We got to shut that off. We need condensation valves on those. Forgot about that. Okay, as long as we're here, we can install this, so we're not having to carry that around. Okay, let's run liquid pipes out this direction. Does that look good? Yeah, it looks good. Alright, so now we should be able to expand this a little bit. We're going to take this one off of here, and we'll put 2 triple tanks on here. And then we will connect up these vents. Okay, there we go. So now at night that should be able to run. And we'll pull in night gas, we'll compress and liquefy it. The liquid will drain out into this segment and we'll get liquid pollutant. The gas will vent out the top right here, and that should just produce liquid pollutant as needed. So anytime we run short of liquid pollutant, we'll just run that at night. So we'll start walling this in. Okay, so that's all walled in. Okay, we're gonna have to take these off.
Hello.
Okay, we'll sheet these up. Make sure this is working correctly. So when this comes up to 5 megapascals, it should start condensing pollutants, and that should start adding pollutants to this tank. So we're at 6.39 kilomoles, and there condensation is happening, so there, and we're now starting to condense a little bit of liquid. Beautiful. We'll let that run overnight, and then that should be fine. Okay, let's put flat wall with the floor facing upward. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, we'll sheet this off. That'll enclose this room. Okay, now we should be ready to put in some planters. I guess let's just put them here for now. Okay, and then let's put up some grow lights, so should be good right there. And we'll put the other one on there just to confirm. We'll have to make more of those later on. How's this all looking? Okay, let's temporarily turn off the automation here. Let's set these two out. Does that make any difference? Yeah, it's draining. Okay. Oh, that needs pipes. Okay, so we need pipes and a screwdriver.
Hydration
And then
critical.
plastic sheets and a welder. Okay. And then I guess let's look at down in the basement. There's going to be an airlock there. Let's just remove these sections here. Okay, now if we turn this automation back on, since we're back to night, these should switch to in. Those shut off automatically. And what pressure did we get down to? Perfect, we got it almost all evacuated out. So we're going to drop the temperature on that tank a fair bit. And then we can turn this system back on as well. We'll run this overnight. So we're at 6.86 kilomoles. That'll take a minute to come up to pressure, and then that'll start producing pollutant again. There we go. And now down here, we're going to want to remove a couple of these sections. Okay, that's going to let us put a battery right there. There we are. So that's the beginning of the new power backbone. We're actually going to move all the backbone batteries down here. Let's run super heavy cable across here. Let's just go with a 5. Where does that put us to? Perfect, right to the middle. And a 4-way, and then another 5. Okay. We're going to want... have to figure out how we're going to do that. Yeah, that works. So from in here, so we'll put a transformer there, and then once we're inside this room, we will run. That'll be our power network for in here. And we'll stick a cowl on that. Actually, let's grab a passive vent. I think the passive vents move more. There we are.
Hello.
Okay. Coming up on daytime again. Let's check all this. Turn off our pollution intake. Check our tank. That's up to pressure and nice low temperature. That's beautiful. So this should come down to 133. And this is looking good. We've got 3 liters of pollutants in there. 28. And that has no power. We've got to wire that back in. Okay, and just as a quick little test, let's check this again. So we got 3 liters in there, and barely anything in there. And what's this at? 154 and dropping quickly. So that sits at 3,500. Yeah, and we're basically running that out of... Okay, so that ran out of liquid before it did anything productive. So we're just not making enough pollutant at night to cool down that CO2, but that's okay. We'll get some more made here over the next couple days. We're going to take another quick little break and eat and drink, and I'm going to think about what our next moves are. Okay, we're back after another break. Gonna finish up a few more things. So I'd like to get some iron walls and encase the basement of the greenhouse facility. 35 grams, we're going to make another 35 of those, so that's fine. So the idea I've got here is I would like to go around and just put iron walls on all of these on the outside, so that if we need to unweld any of these frames to do plumbing and piping, we can go through and do that without venting the base accidentally. Means a little bit of extra resources, but it'll be kind of a convenience thing for us. And while that's going on, let's do a quick bit of mining. Hey, they fixed the bug. Okay, we're going to put more iron walls on here. And we'll have to drill out just a little bit. Let's set this to flatten mode. Okay, and I guess just for appearance's sake, I think I'm going to actually put some legs down. They're not really required. Obviously the base can just float, and that the game will be perfectly happy with that, but appearance matters. Okay, and we'll weld those up. We'll double weld these because the whole point of this is to make this airtight, so since we won't be able to put a wall segment on the bottom of these, we'll have to double weld these. Okay, so that's those, and then let's put iron walls on the rest of this. And we're a couple walls short, so we'll have to run in and grab a few more. And then we'll put the last of those walls on, and we'll sheet all of these up. Okay, so that's taken care of. So now even if we go down here, even if these walls, these frames are unwelded, they are still, this box should still be airtight as is. So that allows us to open these up and run pipes and stuff, plumbing, whatever, underneath the floor here. And that will just make things a lot easier to manage going forward. So yeah, that's kind of a lot of extra work, but that's the reason for doing that. Okay, let's take some flat walls. We're going to do large panel. We'll start building the airlock here. And the ceiling. Okay, and then we want flat. There we are. And steel sheets to close those in. We'll need some door kits. Perfect, we've got 2 of them. And plastic and a welder. Okay, let's go build in this airlock. So to start with, we'll put in the glass for the doors and crowbar them open. Oh, looks like we have another solar storm happening. That's going to charge our batteries real quick, so that one's about half full. How's this one looking? A little bit low, but that's alright. Let's make sure our panels are still doing fine. Looking good. Okay, let's get inside into the shade if we can. Actually, let's take those off. Those are going to work better on this other side, I think. And then we'll put the panel this way. We'll put the APC. We'll start wiring that in. Those are all wired in. Okay, that is wired up. And that has power supplied to it. So now all we need to do is come in and hook up this. So we'll set this to 4950. And why does that not have power? Because the battery's probably not switched on yet. Come down here. Well, that battery is switched on. What's going on here? Well,
waste tank critical.
oh, we gotta empty our waste tank. Oh, because nothing's drawing power, that's why. I forget, those lights don't light up until you actually draw power. Yeah, there we go. That is running. And this needs to be turned on so the console gets power. Why does the console not have power? Because the console's not wired in. That's why. There we are. And let's program this. We will need 2 passive vents and a flat wall. There we are, flat walls. Okay, that will need a steel sheet on it. Okay, and that should be a fully functioning airlock. We just need to program it. So now, instead of a data disk, we can just use the screwdriver. We'll set the gas sensor, the outer vent, the outer door, the inner vent. And that is functioning. So now if we turn this on, the pressure should begin dropping in this room. And just to make it vent out faster, we're going to open up a couple floor segments here. Actually, let's put that one back so we can get in and out. And we'll just leave that running. We'll re-enable the airlock. Oh, let's actually set the external we'll set to 15, and the internal we'll set to 0 for now. Yeah, let's just set both of those to 0. Takes too long to cycle otherwise. If we put some tanks on there, it would cycle faster. But for right now, let's just fast cycle it. There we are. And the temperature is dropping real quickly. Let's just check on all this real quick. Temperature looks nice in there. Good pressure. Okay. So I did want to do a bit of reconfiguring out here. One of the things I'd like to do is take apart this heat exchanger here. And I'd like to actually kind of just bypass this. So there's really no reason this waste line here can't just hook up directly to the big tank over here to dump its heat into. So that should make that a little more efficient. We're just going to take this heat exchanger out of here entirely because it's no longer necessary.
Hunger caution.
Oh, that's nice. It's just a drill 3 times on those. That's kind of handy. And then this heat exchanger here is a little bit undersized. I'm pretty sure I noticed that when I was editing. So I think this big one can do, yeah, it can do liquid and gas. So we're going to remove this small one as well. And that's going to necessitate a little bit of replumbing. So we'll take this out. And we'll just see where we can fit this in here, this big one. Guess if we put it something like this. Oh, but that's not going to work. That's going to have to be over by 1. Okay, we'll put that there. We'll plug that in, and then we'll put in some pipes, gas pipes here. Okay, 134 degrees. We can run this pollutant condenser briefly. Let's just see how long that takes to come up to pressure. It does come up pretty quickly, but the sun's coming up right now, so it's too late. That's fine, though. We'll run it tomorrow night. We should really just automate that pretty soon here, but we'll worry about that in a little bit. Let's start by putting in pipes, and I think I need a wrench on this. And then a torch and sheets. Okay, and then that's put together. Yeah, that's moving much more heat, so now this should work much more efficiently. And we'll check the temperature on that, 15.3. So we actually have some liquid in equilibrium there. Beautiful. Now the next thing I wanted to do was take a little bit of replumbing on this. I guess actually let's run over and check. This should be evacuated by now. So we're reading nil. There we are. I guess just for safety, we will probably unwire that. Put these sheets back. Okay, that is a greenhouse. And we'll have to wire that up in a little while here, but for the time being, the most important thing is now that we have a greenhouse vacuumed out, we are going to need cold carbon dioxide to put in there. And that's going to mean a little bit of plumbing over here. So we'll start by taking down some of this unused pipe segment. I would like to come up on this tank here. And we're going to need some more pipes. Okay, so the idea here is we're going to use this air conditioning system to cool this carbon dioxide as a temporary measure. So to start with, let's put up the direct heat exchanger, gas to gas, something like this maybe. And let's grab some pipes. Okay, so that is carbon dioxide to that side. And then we will actually, let's actually put a valve in right there. That's a good place for a valve. Okay, let's open that, and then we can run pipes up to here. There, so now this should begin dropping in its temperature rather quickly. Maybe 7 kilojoules. Yeah, so this is holding 17 degrees. This is going to try and warm up a little bit, but that's okay. That liquid will actually act as quite a big reservoir. So that's 17, that's 155, 156, so this should be dropping. Yeah, 7 kilojoules, and 7 kilojoules, roughly. So all that heat from that carbon dioxide is slowly being dumped into this tank.
Air tank critical.
Air tank critical. We need to sort that out. Yeah, 150. So that's dropped 6 degrees. So this is cooling relatively slowly, but that's fine. In the meantime, let's run some plumbing over to the greenhouse. Okay, so in here we have a carbon dioxide tank on the end. And I guess let's just start running pipes along here. Straight 10 gets us to there. Okay, so that gets us into the building. Let's come with us. Straight 10 is going to be too much. We'll do a 5 and a 5. Okay, so this should have carbon dioxide all the way over here. And it does, and it is cooling down. So we can come in here and wire that in. Actually, let's take that one out. We'll put a valve right there, just so we can control whether that fills or not. And then that's pure carbon dioxide, so let's run a line up on this side. That should get us up into the wall. Which wall is that? That's the second block in. Oh, it's visible right there. Perfect. And so we can just put a...
Hydration critical.
Let's take this straight 3 off. And we'll put a pump there and a vent up here. I'll put that passive vent on there. Get a volume pump in there. We'll have to wire that in. Okay. And we'll put in this valve. Okay. Okay, let's check on this again. Beautiful, so we're getting a good amount of pollutant in there. This is coming down, and now we can actually kick on this cooler as well. And this should start pulling some pollutant liquid out of here, filling this pressure chamber. 3586 is our set pressure, so it's holding set pressure. And that's pushing pollutant through here. That's evaporating, and that should cool this pipe rapidly. Yeah, 66 degrees. Beautiful. So this is going to start pulling heat now too. So this should be cooling via two different methods. Yeah, and both of these are running full out. So we're dumping a lot of heat, 7 kilojoules being pulled through there. Only 3 kilojoules from there. Oh, because some of it is... We're pulling a few kilojoules out of here. Yeah, 3 kilojoules there and 3 kilojoules there. So that's the 7 that these are pulling out. That's looking lovely. We're just coming up on morning. So this is about to stop condensing, and we're holding 70 liters. And let's turn this off. So that will likely continue to boil for a brief period. Okay. And I'd like to actually set the set point on that a little bit lower. And we will dump, instead of at 160 degrees, let's see, 273 plus 140 is 413. And actually, let's use the vents to pull out of there. So instead of just using the dump valves, and now these should be dumping. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, we're going to make 25 of those. Okay, we're going to head back out. We'll start hauling some of this equipment over to the new greenhouse. We're going to bring the liquid nitrogen tank as well as the portable air scrubber. I'll just set that in there. And then we're going to want a bit of plumbing. So we'll put the liquid storage there. Blocked by a cable. Put it over on this end. Okay, and we'll put that in there. And we'll drop the liquid there. We'll still leave that in its insulation so it doesn't heat up or anything. Okay, we're also going to want a housing and a chip. And while we're waiting on that, let's grab the code off this computer. Let's import that code. Put that chip back. Sun's about to go down. Let's start making some more pollutant for the nighttime. I guess we'll put the housing right here. We'll wire that in. And let's grab our chip. So we'll define the grow light to be the hash for the grow light, because we want to control a bunch of them on this one. So we'll just change these to save batch, and that should be correct. So that is not doing anything because the grow lights aren't wired in. So if I take 2 of these out, I can control all of these on a single light. And we'll have to remove that pipe. Okay. Now we're going to need one more tray. And we'll run a light cable over like this, I guess. Okay. And now if we turn this on... Okay, I think that is actually running. So let's turn that off for the time being. Okay. So I guess we can put some water in there. So these all have water. And that's going to cool down just a touch while the pressure comes up. 17 degrees and holding. That's looking lovely. Okay, daytime. Let's turn off some of this night equipment. Pollution vent can come off. So we're up to 163 liters. That is lovely. And this is cooling. So another 20-ish degrees or so, and we should be good on temperature there. Just about ready to commission the greenhouse. So I am going to take a break here. I think we'll have to wait a little bit for things to cool down. Let's just do a final check. So 51, 8. Oh, that is beautiful. That is using barely any pollutants. We've only pushed 18 moles through. Oh no, excuse me, we've pulled 1,500 moles. So we have actually used about 10% of what's in that tank to run that for like a day or so. Yeah, 28 degrees, so that's moving a lot of heat then. That should be processing 2 kilojoules, which isn't a ton. These are doing 7 kilojoules, but these take 600 watts. This only takes 50. So that's a much more efficient heat flow. But there is other equipment associated with that as well. Okay, so I think that's a good place to end the episode. This is the end of episode 7. We got the new greenhouse almost completely commissioned. We just need to pump some cool carbon dioxide in there, which is cooling down right over here. We got the trays and everything in place. The airlock is working. Got it all sealed up. Most of the air handling equipment is correct down in the basement, so that'll be just need to be turned on for the most part. And hope you're enjoying the videos so far. Consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. I see I've got quite a few viewers who are watching but aren't subscribed, so if that describes you, then definitely consider giving me a subscription. I'm still a small channel and really could use the additional encouragement. So until then, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.